That's right. Wake up, everybody. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. Good morning to all of you loyal listeners of the Street 919 FM. Thank you for choosing the Street 919 FM as your frequency of choice this Sunday morning as we head up to 1 o'clock. So you're tuned in to Cooking with Dominic. Remain this Sunday, and I, of course, am your host, Dominic. For those of you who might be joining the program for the first time, I know our listenership and our viewership grows on a daily basis as those of you, our loyal listeners, continue to share the live as we usually call on you to do. So, let me say good morning to Mr. and Mrs. Giuseppe as usual, Mr. and Mrs. Regis, good morning. Morning, Angie. Morning to Mano, Mother Tunapuna, Patsy Edwards, Nicole Caesar, Davia Andrews, good morning. To Alison Samuel, morning. To the folks, okay, so I see that the Facebook link is up and the YouTube should be up as well, so you can join us on the social media streams, for those of you who normally do so, and for those of you who take us in on the radio as well. Let me see here. Right, Bernadine to Jocelyn, morning to you. Yes, I just saw your comment. Yeah, so so I guess I have a competition this morning with Wendell Eversley, who it appears would be. Good morning to PNM Gemma. Yes, morning Gemma. Wendell wants to do a live. I suspect I know what the live is going to be about. It is now 11:15, and this the 7th day of August 2022. How time flies. The year is almost over. More than half of the year has gone by. Of course, today being the 7th, so on Wednesday we'll be celebrating 2 years of the current administration, second term in office. I know a lot of people, that is not good news. You know, that's not something that they love to take into consideration or talk about. But hard luck for you. You still have another full 3 years to go for all of you who like to gripe and talk about the PNM this and the PNM that. Yeah? And it seems, you know, as we make our way to the second anniversary of the second term of this administration, UNC nastiness is out in full force. Yes, full force. So, by now, a lot of people would have, and I'm not going to spend much time on this, right? Because it wasn't my intention really to even address the issue. But it would be remiss of me not to do so, given the fact that it appears to be the trending story. So, crime is no longer important. Yeah, it's not a big thing for the members of the literati, it seems, these days. Bad roads is not important. Poverty, not important, because those are the usual talking points now. The state of the economy and Trinidad and Tobago on the brink. These things are not important. You know what is important, for those of you who may not be aware, is the latest round of nastiness from the United National Congress. Again, reinforcing why I always have to refer to them as the ocean of deplorables. They went from being a basket of deplorables to a barrel of deplorables, a tank of deplorables, ocean of deplorables, and now we're looking for something bigger than the ocean to describe the members of the United National Congress. So, after making allegations about the Prime Minister, because the dog liar, that disgusting piece of filth, for more than a year, making allegations of infidelity on the part of the Prime Minister with respect to the current Minister of Education and so on, and allegations of other female members of the cabinet. They have now taken to attacking Mrs. Rowley. Yes, making allegations, again, of infidelity, and people sending me nonsense. And, I had to pull up some of my friends. Don't send me this trash. I'm not interested in UNC propaganda. Stop sending me these things. Right? Yeah. But I saw the dog liar decided to do a live. And not just the dog liar, right? And let me say this. I am convinced now more than ever that it's just a bunch of thongs men in the UNC. Thongs men, Thongs Yes, and I use the word tongues because there's another word that I want to use to describe them, but unfortunately I can't use it because it's not radio friendly. But you're big and you have sense and you understand what I mean when I say thongs men in the UNC or double M men. Yeah, double M. If you're big and you have sense, you know what I mean. In the UNC, right? The likes of the Doglaya, and I saw this one from Synergy, Stefan Rees, decided to go in front of One Woodbrook Place to do a live to talk nonsense again, reinforcing this foolishness, this latest piece of nastiness that they're engaging in with respect to Mrs. Rowley, right? And I had to throw my mind back to that interview that Mrs. Rowley did, I think it was last year with Natalie Legault. You know, when she spoke about the challenges that she faces being the wife of the Prime Minister. It's not enough that she has to be, you know, has to see and hear and read the nastiness that they keep throwing at her husband on a daily basis. And when he comes home at night and you know, she knows what he goes through and the challenges that he faces and the hardship, knowing that he's trying his best to manage Trinidad and Tobago, but there are thousands of people who just simply don't appreciate that because of their selfishness and intellectual laziness. And so now she has to deal with this latest, well, I don't even know what to call it, right? But there's plenty tongues men in the UNC. Plenty of them, right? Doing lives. Only a shame, well, as we established before, the UNC has no shame, right? Never had and never will. So all the dogs, there are no shame for the dogs in that party to eat, right? All these dogs and them suffering from marasmus, they lie down on the side of the pavement just waiting to dead. You could have no shame for them to eat. And every time you think that the UNC could muster some small modicum of shame, they come and say, hey, hold my punching. Really? Really? But this one, the Doglaya, this man, he have real cojones, I must say. For him to come and do a live talking about horn and who get horn and all of that. Papi, you seem to forget. There is a video which I am sure is going to resurface very soon, very, very soon, of your ex-spouse. Because not me, is your partner Nakir who outed you in the Senate when he said that you are now a single father. But that was inevitable. And I mean, I don't want to really go down that road because that's not what I want to talk about today in the interest of time. But there is a certain video of a certain DJ with your ex-spouse, right? Many people have seen it. Many people haven't. I mean, I still have it in my archives, but unfortunately, Trinidad and Tobago, I can't show it. I cannot play it because it is not radio friendly. It is rated R, real double R, triple R. So I can't play and I can't show it, unfortunately, right? But this disgraceful piece of filth has the audacity, the temerity to do a whole live to come and talk about the Prime Minister and all of this foolishness and infidelity and so on, forgetting what went on with him. That it is alleged that he put out a hit on the life of this DJ because of that video. Why are you now a single father? It took her long to realize the filth that you are, the disgusting piece of filth that you are. It took her very, very long to realize that, but finally mustered the courage to walk. Second marriage ended in failure. I wonder why. Because you yourself are a failure. A failure in every area and aspect of your life. Even in the Senate, you're a damn failure. But it's only your political leader can't realize that. And she have no shame. So I don't know why it is you're still there. You and the next one, Naked. Well, I'm waiting to see his life, again, showing the fact that he too want to join the Tongsman crew. Yeah? It's only a matter of time. Plenty of them want to join that crew. They're already in it, but plenty of them want to show that they're in the Tongsman crew. The double M crew. Right. So, he want to give advice to the Prime Minister. Let me tell you something, Doglaya. Right? You should have given that advice to Gregory. Yes, Gregory, you know? Back in the days when, as Jack told us, Christian used to be mowing Sushila hedges or trimming her hedges and mowing her lawn. You remember that? Jack said so. I didn't give him that advice. When pages went missing from the visitors' logbook up at the diplomatic center when Sushila was the Prime Minister. Why did those pages go missing? Well, perhaps we should cue and revisit that video, that recording that Mr. Warner did with the former driver of, what's his name? Glenn Ramadar Singh, who alleged in the video that he used to transport certain people to the diplomatic center to engage in certain nocturnal activities. You didn't know to give advice then. Only forget them things. But you want to come out now and run your mouth and anyway. I think when Eversley is doing a live on that. Plenty of people want that video. No problem. I'll pull it from the archives. I'll forward it. Yes, but I can't play it. I cannot play it, unfortunately. Yeah? So they seem to forget the pages that went missing from the visitors logbook several times. Perhaps I'll see if Mr. Warner would be willing to share that video again. You remember that recording? Doug Lyer, Stephen Rees, and others? Bunch of degenerates. Listen, that's why Mrs. Rowley should sue everyone all here. But in due course. But that's not really what I wanted to talk about. I just had to touch on it a little bit, you know, because there's now the pink elephant in the room, and I'm certain that it is going to be making the rounds among the headquarters of the literati over the course of the next couple of weeks, because it just goes to show they can't speak about anything but intellectual substance. That's all they like, couture and bacchanal. Well, go and visit the house next door to the Pink Palace now and tell us, the man who say he built a whole house or buy a house from what? Collecting stones? Christian? All right. Yes, Davia, that is it, but I can't say it on the radio. Right. Let me see what Nicole say there. Yes, Nicole, I don't read them. None of them. None of them. Right? Bunch of thongs, men. Disgusting. Listen. But anyway, Mrs. Rowley is a woman of class and substance, right? And if this is the level that you all have to go to, it shows the desperation of the members of that party, that you all would now take it to the attacking the Prime Minister's wife and making these nasty, disgusting, and despicable allegations. All I didn't talk about Omar sitting on Holyfield lap. Why you didn't talk about that? Well, they forget that. Anyway, a certain senator, now another one in the Senate, who was married to, he was married or he was engaged to a former minister under the PP. Ask him why the two of them divorced now. Why the two of them divorced? I ain't gonna call him, I will just call initials. SR, that was the minister, who was married to one of the senators now. Divorce. Find out why now, but you don't want to talk about infidelity. Look, Doug Lyer, not today, you know, not today. But I know others will deal with you. Issue number 2, it's 3 issues I wanted to touch on. Issue number 2, right? As was to be expected, no sooner has the government announced the budget for the 60th anniversary independence celebrations in Trinidad and Tobago, right? That members of the literati jump out themselves to talk about wastage of money and how the government, they have money to pave a road and they don't have money to take care of the healthcare system. They don't have money for this and money for that, but they could find $7.5 million to pay for, to fund the 60th anniversary celebrations of independence, and how that money could have been better spent. I expected nothing less from them. You know, they were just waiting for that. Yeah? I heard yesterday on that program yesterday. I didn't really listen much to much of it, but I heard a couple callers, and you know what's shameless? Again, we come every week. We say we're coming to educate and inform. So I heard Kingsley call in yesterday, and Kingsley spoke on the issue of this 60th anniversary of the independence celebrations, and he said $7.5 million for fireworks. Yeah, again, unfortunate. Just as when the government had earlier on this year a taste of carnival, 15 million, and people were saying it's 15 million to build cow pen in the savannah, not taking into consideration all the other things that money was supposed to have been spent on. They come now and they're telling you it's $7.5 million for fireworks. So that is the only thing. Notwithstanding the fact that the government has put out a comprehensive list of all of the activities that will be taking place from now leading up to independence on the 31st of August. And what that money is going to be spent on, right? But they're going to tell you, you're going to hear them singing that tune, $7.5 million for fireworks. And when it is that Kingsley, one of the hosts, asked Kingsley, what, $7.5 million for fireworks? Kingsley said, well, it's not just fireworks alone, we'll be spending on other things. So, you know, he corrected himself. But subsequent to that, Kunji decided to call in, right? And he decided to move the decimal point. from 7.5 to $75 million. The government put out $75 million to pay for fireworks. And he repeated it not once, not twice, 3 times. He said that. And those two who sat here and listened to Kunji say that piece of nonsense, that rubbish, misleading people, and didn't correct him. After they heard Kingsley say 7.5 million, right? And I'm sure Kunji was listening to and heard when Kingsley said 7.5 million. But he felt that was too little bit. So let me come now and add to it, right? Because apparently 7.5 million people are too vexed with that. So let me move the decimal point. So it's either it is that Kunji has a master's or a PhD in mathematics, or when the teacher was teaching decimal points in primary school, he's probably stayed home that day. Or is it a case that he's just being willfully malicious and dishonest? But you call the radio station to chastise parents, to tell them, parents and grandparents, to chastise them on how they're bringing up the children and what example they're setting. But you call the radio station to mislead, willfully mislead the population, right? Willfully mislead. To say $75 million to create kuchu and bacchanal and propaganda, because that's all you're all good at. But you want to chastise people about what example is setting. What example are you setting by being dishonest, calling the radio station and spreading lies when the truth was told earlier on, and I'm sure you would have been listening. But you find that is not enough. 7.5 is not enough. No. Let me embellish it so people could get more upset with the administration. You see that? And this is the problem with you guys. That when you all do foolishness and nastiness like that, it is your credibility that is at stake. And when you do things like that, so everybody realize you have no credibility. Because the truth was told before, but you still come and lie and say $75 million. Right? And talk for however long. And the host didn't correct you. But we come in every week to educate and inform. Well, since all you want to make an issue about 7.5 million being spent on that endeavor, let me give you all a little reminder. You know I like to go back in time. Yeah? So for the members of the literati who are going to be singing the tune for the next week and 2 weeks and for the rest of August, 7.5 million. How much roads $7.5 million could pave? Really? How many? How many roads? How many schools 7.5 million could build? Huh? Are they talking about the healthcare system? What 7.5 million could really do for the healthcare system? And what we have to celebrate after 60 years, what we celebrating crime, and we celebrating bad roads, and we celebrating the state of the economy and people not having jobs. Really? Seriously? The United States just celebrated 246 years as an independent nation. 246 years. You hear anybody asking what is celebrating after 246 years? That every year, several times of the year, you have mass shootings where dozens of people are being killed and injured after 246 years. You hear them saying, what we celebrated, that after 246 years, you have places around the United States where citizens of the United States are living on the pavement, in tents, with no sanitation, no water, no electricity. Some of them are veterans who went and fight in other countries for the United States of America, fighting wars that have nothing to do with them. And they come back home, and that's how they end up, homeless, suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder and living on the streets, begging after 246 years with all the money. Every year, the United States giving away billions of dollars to other countries to help their citizens. But in meanwhile, within their domestic borders, you have citizens who have no food to eat, don't know where the next meal coming from. Some of them facing eviction every month. You hear them saying, what we celebrating after 246 years, but we are 60 years as an independent. A young nation in comparison. And all of you unpatriotic bastards have the audacity to come and talk about what we celebrating and what we celebrating. Really? Well, let me remind all of you. So every time I want to talk that choppy talk and call the radio station talk about 7.5 million and they're wasting, and right? Let me give the PNM people something to respond to them to. This is an article dated July 24, 2012. Here the title, $35 million to celebrate TNT's 50th anniversary. Let me repeat that. 35, not 3.5. No issues here with the decimal point. $35 million to celebrate TNT's 50th anniversary. And this is a quote from Botiwari. The government is spending close to $35 million on a range of activities and festivities to celebrate TNT's 50th anniversary of independence. Minister of Planning and Sustainable Development, Dr. Botiwari, said so while speaking about a series of planned events on the Independence weekend, Independence Day, which will be celebrated on August 31st, which is a Friday. Tiwari said, for all the events that we are doing, it will probably end up costing maybe about $35 million for everything that we do. That's for Independence Weekend, 2 days. Or Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 3 days. 35 million. But this administration is spending 7.5 for a month-long endeavor, and all you're complaining and griping. I continue. Tiwari said, this includes everything that we have done in the past during the course of this year and everything that will continue until the end of the year. He said all events were planned with the people in mind. On Wednesday, Tiwari's ministry signed an agreement with soca superstar Machel Montano, who is expected to produce 10 songs for the Going for Gold project. In April, at a gala ceremony at Queen's Hall, St. Anne's, Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar officially declared open celebrations for the 50th independence anniversary. Since the launch, there were several multicultural shows at Napa, Sapa, the Naparima Bowl, and the Rujanat Capildale Learning Center. Tiwari said our approach to the independence celebrations has been to engage the people, involve the people, and to build the celebrations around culture, sports, creative arts, and the season. For that is that independence is not about a government negotiation with the colonial office. We needed to do that, and we did it very well, and we achieved that in 1962. But what independence is about is now self-responsibility, community responsibility, and social cohesion. A tribute will be paid to Eric Williams. Tiwari was speaking in an interview at his office at Level 13 Financial Complex, Port of Spain. He said all the money spent was going to the artists, participants, and people involved in managing the activities. He said, what we have been able to do is bring confidence to the artists and confidence to our people. Really? All right. $35 million. Let us not forget $5 million was given to soca star Machel Montano for the Going for Gold CD that I just mentioned. 10 songs, $5 million. Anybody could tell me the name of any other song other than Going for Gold on that CD? Any of you all ever saw it? After that, we ever heard anything about it? Where can I get a copy of that CD? Anybody from the UNC could tell me that? Any of you all ever got a copy of it? $5 million of taxpayers' money. You would think they would hand out copies for free. Not so? All who like to talk about taxpayer money. All in a problem with that $5 million and not one CD any of you all get. All of you gripers from the illiterati. $35 million. 5 times what this government is proposing to spend, right? I want to ask Kunji. In 2012, they didn't have any poor people in Trinidad who could have used that 35 million. They didn't have any bad roads to fix. The hospital, the healthcare services was top-notch, right? No problems. They didn't have any shortage of beds, any shortage of doctors and nurses, no shortage of medication. In 2012, they didn't have any school children who needed help to buy books and uniform to go to school and buy shoes. In 2012, there weren't any poor people. They didn't have anybody who was unemployed. Every single citizen in the country had a job then. And nobody could have benefited from that 35 million, so that was money well spent. And you all didn't have a problem with it. But today, 7.5 million all over the place bumping all the gum. You all for real? Let me give you some of the comments from back in 2012. Here. What the fire truck we celebrating? High crime rate, poor healthcare, corruption, waste of taxpayers' money again from a waste of time government, because they use that money on, they could have used that money on more pressing issues, and this is the best they could come up with. This 2012. Get another one. Meanwhile, Port of Spain General and San Fernando General Hospital in a mess. Don't forget they're releasing 50 prisoners too. It's all public relations with this government, just fet after fet with Kamla and her posse. Go again. And in other news, bandits and murderers continue to run free. Enjoy, folks. Yeah. Apparently, Kunji, crime was an issue back in 2012. Poverty was an issue back in 2012. Yeah? Poor healthcare was an issue back in 2012. Bad roads was a problem back in 2012. But all didn't have problems with $35 million being spent to celebrate the 50th anniversary. But you have a problem with 7.5 and I continue to tell members of the literati, you all have no moral authority to criticize anything that this administration does. Right? Nothing. None. You all like to talk about wastage and all of this foolishness. As if. And then want to promote that party. That party that spent 35 million 10 years ago, that they are the alternative to this administration and they should come back and things is better under Kamla. Huh? Any all eat our food from that 35 million? Well, they like to talk stupidness now. Oh, that's 7.5 million going in the pocket of the 1%. Really? How? How? Corporate Trinidad and Tobago always sponsors the fireworks at the Savannah. And some call the same 1% that all always have nothing good to say about. But always putting money in their pocket. Yeah, every time you buy a bear, a carry and a stag is you putting money in the 1% pocket. And some call. Not Keith Rowley. You doing that. Every time you buy a car from Classic Motors or you buy a car from Mitsubishi or any of these car companies, it's you putting money in the pocket of the 1%, the Answer McCall group. Not Keith Rowley. Yeah? Go and do some research and see all the companies that Answer McCall own now. And see that every day, most of the stuff that you buy, when you buy the Guardian newspaper or anything, when you put on your television and you're watching CNC3, all of these things, yeah, you put in money in the pocket of the same 1% that you're claiming, in whose back pocket you claim Dr. Rowley is. Well, they're not serious. $35 million. PNM people, when you hear them call the radio station to talk and complain about 7.5, remind them 35, big snake, 35 million, remind them of that. Issue number 3, in the interest of time. The Tobago House of Assembly hosting carnival in October. Everybody know about that, huh? They want to have their own carnival in October, no problem. After 2 years of no carnival in Trinidad, carnival that we're accustomed to, because of COVID, Tobago is hosting their own carnival in October. And we have seen within the past couple of months, there is a thirst, a desire on the part of those citizens in Trinidad and Tobago who like to party and who like to fit, to get back to that type of activities. Yes? Bacchanal Road, Stink and Dirty, Josie's Jamishness, that's just to name a few. All of these fests sell out. Tribe had something the other day. I just came on the avenue there and I saw some fellas buying doubles by sauce there on the avenue, covered in paint. So I didn't know that they're looking like Juve morning. Or I didn't know they had something. And probably another fete that they went to. Yeah? But you have people planning to go to Tobago from Trinidad for this carnival. In fact, we're hearing that all flights booked up for that period of time. You can't get plane ticket, you can't get boat ticket to go across to Tobago. So much so that Farley complaining every God-given day about Carl need to put more flights on the air bridge, and Carl need to do this and Carl need to do that, and the THA is willing to spend the $5-point-something million extra to keep the airport open to facilitate more flights and all of that. Tobago's room stock is very limited, and I imagine that if it is that persons can get to Tobago from Trinidad, a lot of the beds, whether it be bed and breakfast, whether it be guest houses, hotels, a lot of these rooms, just like with the Easter weekend, those accommodations are usually filled up. For that Tobago Carnival, it's also going to be filled up, quite likely, because you have a lot of persons who are heavily involved in the Trinidad and Tobago Carnival who are planning to go over there and offer their expertise, you know, to partake, because at the end of the day, the country is still Trinidad and Tobago, right? So, we have the Tobago House of Assembly decided that they want to partner with Grenada because they want to look at the Grenada-style carnival to bring to Tobago. Never mind the fact that Trinidad and Tobago's carnival has long been described as the Mecca of carnival worldwide. A lot of carnivals around the globe are patterned after Trinidad and Tobago's carnival. Yeah? So if it is that you want to get what is arguably one of the best carnivals in the world, you're right here. You don't need to go far. So many people you could call on. Dean Akin of Tribe. You have Jules Sobian of Rogue. Caesar's Army. You have so many band leaders that you could lean on to get their expertise and their input into creating what could be, you know, a very good carnival. But for some reason, the Tobago House of Assembly executive decided that they want to go to Grenada. Why do I raise this issue? This is, you know, they could do whatever it is that they want. I raise this issue because since December last year, when this current THE administration came in, we've been hearing from the Chief Secretary, it had no money. It had no money. The last administration spent out all the money. The last administration thief out all the money. Tricky Tracy and Sil Dennis spent out the money on all kind of bacchanal and all kind of chopridness. So all the coffers of the THA is almost spent. In fact, he went so far as to tell us, in the future, if you are attending any event hosted by the THA, Do not expect to get any refreshments. Remember that? No tea plates, no coffee, no tea, no water, right? Nothing. So if you're coming to a THA hosted event, walk with your thermos and your Ziploc bag in your pocket. Walk with your own food and drink because we have no money to purchase anything to give you to wet your throat, so to speak. That's how bad it was. Let me get this here. All right? Let me get this here. So they sent a 10-member team to Grenada to observe carnival festivities in Grenada. Observe. Yeah? An observer team. Now just imagine when we had elections in 2020, the Commonwealth Secretariat said they cannot afford to send an observer team to look at our elections, to observe, because they don't have money. Because of the issues with COVID and so on, it has impacted their budget, and therefore they cannot afford to send any observer teams here, right? But the THA that don't have money to buy water, they don't have, even if you go to a THA event, you can't even get a glass of government juice. Why? And we know government juice is what? Tap water. Because they don't have money to buy styrofoam cups to give you to be able to put under the tap to full and drink water. That's how bad things are in Tobago. But we have money to send a 10-member team to Grenada to observe the Grenada Carnival festivities for 10 days. So apparently they're going with pen and writing pad, as they say, but I'm surprised they have money to buy that. So they just got to stand on the side of the road, on the pavement, and tap their feet, and they with their notepad and pen taking notes. Yes, this is how the thing is. So you rub your bodies in black oil, and you wind to the left, you wind to the right. Okay, all right. Yes. What they call this thing here? The jab, and the jab, and so on. Yeah. So they taking notes, copious notes, so they could come back to Tobago in 10 days' time and properly plan the carnival for October. Right? Because the Grenada model is better than the Trinidad and Tobago model that has been around for donkey years. Okay? Here the expenditure. Delegating team. Assemblyman Megan Morrison, Assistant Secretary. That is for the Division of Tourism. Return airfare Port of Spain, Grenada, Port of Spain, $3,803. So that's over $500 US. Right? You could get a flight, a round-trip flight from Port of Spain to Miami, costing 300 and something US. But they're spending over 500 US on a round-trip flight to Grenada for 10 days to go and observe Grenada Carnival. Return domestic airfare, $300. So they had to catch the flight for Grenada from Piarco Airport. So they have to fly from Tobago to Piarco, take the plane from there, go to Grenada, and when they come back, they fly back to Tobago. Flat allowance, 125 US. Hotel accommodation, 300 US for 10 nights, 21,000 TT dollars. Daily allowance, 245 US, which works out to 1,750 TT per day, right? Per day, 18,865. So the Assemblyman Megan Morrison, $44,843 for her to go to Tobago to take notes, copious notes on Grenada Carnival. Mrs. Renata Murray Dionanan, personal assistant to the Assistant Secretary. The personal assistant to the Assistant Secretary. Return airfare, $3,803. Flat allowance of $125, so she'll be getting $800. Right. Hotel accommodation, 200 US, 1,400 TT per night for 10 nights, $14,000. Daily allowance, 195 US spending money per day for 11 days. $15,015 TT. $33,993 for her. Mr. Dave Elliott, videographer. So they carrying a man with a camera. So in case they miss anything while taking copious notes, when they come back to Tobago, they could look at the video and take down any notes of anything that they missed, right? So for the cameraman, same thing, return airfare, 3,803 TT, over 500 US. Hotel accommodation, 200 US, 1,400 TT, 10 nights, $14,000. Daily allowance, so he too getting 195 US to spend every day, $15,015. Here's the kicker. Miss Misha Trim, the chairman of the October Carnival Committee, She is only spending 2 days in Grenada, right? Because she only needs to observe for 2 days to determine what the festival committee or the carnival committee needs to do to pull off the best carnival in Tobago. She just needs 2 days, right? This is the chairman of the committee. Only 2 days. 2 days. Her airfare costing more than everybody else's, $4,016. She too is receiving a flat allowance of 125 US. She's also receiving 200 US 2 nights. That is 2,800, and then daily allowance of 195 US, so 2,730. So her expense is $10,721. So she just needs 2 nights in order 2 days to see all that she needs to see. But the rest of them need 11 days. 11 days they need. Yeah? They can't see that. They don't need 2 days as well. They need 11 days. So you, the taxpayer, they always complain about money this and money that and central government and all of that. They sent a waste of time delegation to Dubai with Watson Duke earlier on this year. What came out of that? All the money that was spent on that trip. Imagine Watson Duke went to Dubai to sell Tobago to the people of that side of the world, right? Because it wasn't just people from Dubai, from Saudi Arabia and the Emirate countries and so on. You went to sell Tobago, to tell the people Tobago is the place to come and invest your money. But then, 12 o'clock in the night, you're doing a live, showing people that you just ordered a pizza from the hotel, and at 12 o'clock in the night, you could get a pizza, a chicken pizza, yeah? And to talk about the wonderful customer service in this hotel here in Dubai, and to chastise the people of Tobago about the quality of customer service, and they could learn a thing or two from the people in Dubai. So you want to sell Tobago, but doing a live to tell people, to tell the world, because when people share this, that, hey, the customer service in Tobago is the pitch compared to Dubai, but you're selling Tobago. Yeah, Tobago is the best place to come, but expect piss poor customer service. And you're telling the people in Dubai that. How much money was spent on that trip? What came out of that? Months later. Did we see a delegation of persons from the Middle East coming to Tobago in the last couple of months to say they come in to spend money here and they want to invest? So they're going to Grenada, 11 days, costing almost $300,000 taxpayers' money. But we don't have money. We don't have money to pay people the ex gratia payment of $1,000, and so $300,000. So that $300,000 that you all spend for a 10-member delegation to go to Grenada, you could have given 300 people the ex gratia payment. 300 workers from the THA could have gotten the ex gratia payment that you promised them for Christmas last year. Huh? But no, you have money to send 10-member delegation team to Grenada to observe Carnival. They're not going to participate, they're just going to observe. And further to that, the disrespect that is coming out of the THA, particularly from the THA Chief Secretary, Fali Augustine, that you holding talks, looking at establishing a ferry service between Tobago and Grenada for this gracious Carnival. And you've had no discussion with the Minister of Works and Transport. Because for any such ferry service to operate, it entails, of course, the use of the port of Scarborough, right, which falls under the management and the responsibility of the Port Authority of Trinidad and Tobago. It have no Port Authority of Tobago, right? That is the property of and falls under, this is responsibility of the Port Authority of Trinidad and Tobago. Your whole discussions with the board of the Port Authority last week, Thursday, but no discussions with the Minister of Works and Transport, who is the line minister for the Port Authority. So he, like everybody else, hearing about this on the evening news, reading about it in newspapers, contacted for comment by members of the media and don't have a clue as to what that will involve. But you have Fali, who apparently is the self-appointed Prime Minister. You engaging in discussions with Grenada to establish ferry service between the two countries for your carnival. So you don't have enough people from Trinidad who could come and patronize that carnival and fill up all the rooms in Tobago. No. You need to go to Grenada. Yeah? What is this latest thing with Grenada? Huh? Exactly what it is you're trying to accomplish, Fali. Tell us now. What is it exactly that you feel you could bypass the government and everybody and do your own thing? So you want to establish ferry service. What vessel you're using to establish this ferry service? The Galleon's Passage? The Bucco Reef? The APT James? Under whose authority are you going to do that? Or is it that Grenada will be providing the ferry? Have you had discussions with the Prime Minister of Grenada, the newly elected Prime Minister of Grenada, Mr. Mitchell? Huh? You had any discussions with him? What about diplomacy between the government of Trinidad and Tobago and the government of Grenada? What about that? Have you had any discussions with the Transport Minister in Grenada on this matter? So you put in plans in place for ferry service, and the upper echelons of government of the two countries know nothing about it. But you hold in talks with the Port Authority, right? And that making sense to you. $300,000 you were able to find to send a 10-member delegation for 10 days, 11 days, to go and observe. They're not participating, they ain't playing mass. No. We're putting them up in the best hotel, and at the expense of taxpayers, but we ain't have money to pay ex-gratia payment. We need to send home workers. How many workers could that 300,000 have paid? But I know members of the literati, when I look on Facebook and I see that story come up, you know, they have nothing to say about that. They can't tell you how much road could I pay for that money. They want to tell you how many school children books and uniform could I buy with that money. No. That money is money well spent. And for 10 people to go to Tobago on a jaunt, to go to Grenada, on a joyride for 11 days to like themselves. So apparently the Assistant Secretary in the Division of Tourism, she don't have work to do. Her department good. All right, so she could afford to run to Grenada for 11 days and relax and participate and partake in the offerings of Grenada Carnival. Meanwhile, the chairman of the festivals committee, or the chairman of the Tobago Carnival Committee, 2 days is enough for her. She only needs 2 days. She is the chief decision maker. She only needs 2 days to witness, but the rest of them need 11 days. Well, you vote for that. Yeah, but that is how my friend from New Jersey used to call it. The ads are upon us. We're coming back after the ads.
Boss ladies of soca for me, please. Pick up the boss ladies of soca for me, please. All you know, right now, I want to pick up the queen of soca right now. I want to pick up one of the queens of soca right now. I want to tell you to make some noise for one of my favorite songs for the season. All you make some noise for Patrice Roberts for me, please. Pleasant good night to everyone. Put your hands in the air. Put it up, put it up. How you feeling? Tonight, eternally. I want to see your hands in the air if you know this song right now. Say, all of my property, all of my money, it not mean anything if I don't have you. 'Cause you are my everything, and I can't do anything but put that on everything, for you. Everybody sing if I give you all my love, would you? This time, cherish it and never let me know. 'Cause you're not gonna find someone to love you better. If I want it, babe, you sing. Make I go love you, cha-cha. Make I go love you, tender. Make I go love you, cha-cha. Make I go love you, tender. Oh, tender. I love you eternally. I love you eternally. Hey, oh, I love you eternally. I love you eternally. Together, out in the deepest ocean to show my devotion. You know, see me open like a window, my love. I go all I wanna for you. You know, see me feel you. Baby, nobody that good. You sing now, look, if I give you all my love, and would you treasure? Would you cherish it and never let me know? Let me go. 'Cause you're not gonna find someone to love you better. If you believe in love, put your hands in the air. Hands in the air. Sing. Cha-cha. I go love you tender, tender, oh, tender. I love you eternal, eternally, eternally, eternally. I love you, hey, say, oh, I love you eternal, eternally, eternally, eternally. I love you eternally. You give me plenty, plenty love, plenty, plenty love. Oh, my friend, give me plenty, plenty love, plenty, plenty love. Plenty, plenty, my love. Plenty, plenty love. Plenty, plenty, my love.
Join Pastor Kelvin Heinerine and friends for The Way, The Truth, The Life Radio Ministry, a Church of God ministry, live on the street 919 FM from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. This and every Sunday on the street 919 FM. Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man cometh to the Father except through me. John chapter 14, verse 6. For further information, contact 686-3845, 349-5178, or 342-7303.
Yeah. I make the whole place mash up. When we sipping on Caria's pink must start to turn it up. I make the whole place flash up. Yeah. Bottle after bottle, like me win the lotto. Bad and bougie, I'm humble when my hustle. Shape like a model, sexy and subtle. Caria's could make me turn it up a next level. Right now I feeling a kind of vibe. Aye. It's a Caria's pink Moscato vibe. Aye. Caria's pink Moscato. Drink responsibly.
Hi, what's up, TNT? This is Wayne Johnson out of Brooklyn, New York. I always wanted to do something back home, and we're going to be doing our gospel segment on Mondays from 10 p.m. to 12 midnight. That's 10 p.m. to 12 midnight on 91.9 FM. Listen what I want you to do. Spread the word. Spread the word, TNT. Salvation, full and free. Salvation is for everybody. Mondays from 10 p.m. to 12 midnight. That's 10 p.m. to 12 midnight on 91.9 FM.
Tune in to the Street 919 FM every Friday from 9:15 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. with Kingdom Health Services, situated at number 125 Eastern Main Road in Tunapuna. For the program, Health and Healing, merging the old with the new, with Mr. Brent Diet. For more information, call 318-7471 or 484-0141 or 360-4100. It's all about Kingdom Health Services on the street, 919 FM.
Share the live. Share the live. The Street 919 FM on Facebook and Instagram. Share the live. Iowa George on Instagram. Share the live. Iowa TV and Street TV on YouTube. Share the live. The Street 919 FM.
Right. Welcome back. So it is my understanding that we could find money to send a delegation to Grenada to observe the carnival. But Fali, is it the case that you all are not offering prizes for any of the competitions? Yeah? Is that the case? No prizes for the mass men, the Calypsonians and stuff? Is that we don't have money for that, Fali? But we have money to send a delegation to Grenada? Really? Where they staying? And when the people from Grenada come for the carnival, where are they staying, Fali? You couldn't organize to get a next ferry to bring Trinidad across to Tobago to participate in the carnival. Why? Because they need to make space for the Grenadians. They can't get flights to come to Trinidad. Why you not talk to the airport authority in Grenada to tell them to organize flights to have the Grenadians come to Trinidad, or rather come to Tobago for the carnival, since you want to make demands on Caribbean Airlines. And speaking of making demands on Caribbean Airlines, on Tuesday, I will speak to the issue of the head of the Tobago Chamber of Commerce, Martin George, and why once again he has demonstrated that he's truly deserving of the Jockey Shorts Award. But to the Chief Secretary, well, I now understand why it is that the Deputy Chief could be all over the place except where he's supposed to be, in his office in the THA, and servicing his constituents in his district. Because if it is the Assistant Secretary for Tourism could be gallivanting in Grenada for a whole 11 days, so she don't have work to do in her office in Tobago, that she could afford to run to Grenada for 11 days, and like herself and the rest of the other 10-member delegation, speaks volumes, Volumes. But we ain't gonna talk about that. I know a Tobago friend who normally listens, I'm sure that who has a plaster for every sore, if he probably listening, you know, I would be more than happy to hear your twist and your spin on this. We ain't have money for this, I have money for that. Tricky Tracy spent all the money, but we could find $300,000 to send 10-member delegation to observe Grenada Carnival. Or you couldn't go on YouTube and pull up some videos on Grenada Carnival and look at it. You needed to be there in person and spend $300,000. All right. Meanwhile, CPAP workers getting paid late. Meanwhile, people getting sent home because you want to be thrifty. We can't be wasting money. 342-008-146-653-91. See who we have here. Hello, good afternoon.
Hey, good afternoon, Dominic. How are you?
I am good, sir.
Yes, man. Enjoying your program, enjoying your editorial.
Thank you.
Actually, Dominic, you gotta give them hard and proper, you know. They ain't studying about Zipline and Mississippi and Tricky Tracy again, eh? But they see where they go. I watched news last night on TV station, even Mr. Gypsy Vincent, he said, asked himself, why is the delegation had to go to Grenada instead of Trinidad? Isn't Trinidad the hub of Carnival? Yes or no,
Well,
Dominic?
that's what I thought.
But like everybody had to spend money. So where they finding money? I thought they say that the church had no money. The impression I get is that Tobago want to go independent, you know.
Yeah.
That was the impression I get, because even the minister who said that he in the dark about the so-called ferry service.
Exactly.
So what is going on? Look, you see these people and them that I was saying, yeah, sorry that Tobago go anywhere they go, you know. If they want to go independent, so yes or no, but they know who goes with. But you know who could be happy? A certain ethnic group in this country, because they go with the dominant group.
Yes.
That's what they wanted to go for the longest while. And so Begonians have this clannish kind of, well, not call them, so now the clannish behavior since the days of BAC, right?
Mm-hmm.
It is the BAC faction that is supporting the so-called opposition forces in Tobago, what do they call it? The top, the NAL, Tobago Forward thing, all of them is so-called old BAC faction. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And they are pushing the agenda that they want to go independent. And the situation was with this rumor with Dr. Rowley and outside child and things like that. I think you need to look inside and ask them about who have outside child too, you know. And that person they call, well, that individual who say they want to go, they want to put him up to go for the judge's seat. He should be the last person to talk about Dr. Rowley. Because up to now, they asked him if he was the person in that so-called video. And I think I better remind the audience about who was in 121. Is that in the video? Something you have a good day. But like I said again, if Tobago want to go independent, so be it. But like I said, a certain ethnic group will be very happy if they go that direction. Because as far as I'm concerned, Mozambique is carrying out the agenda of a certain party in this country. You have a good day.
You too, sir. Jenny.
Hi, good afternoon, Dominic. Good
Greetings.
afternoon to all the callers and listeners on 91.9. Mr. Chance Manatuna Punas, Zina, Manu, Brother Sterling, everybody, the whole Tobago clip. You see me with the Tobago issue, this is my opinion. If there was secession, give them the recession because they're not listening, they don't care. Things are not going good there, and they have the people, they would say, who talking the truth. We know, based on Watson Solomon Drew, I could only speak from what I know. His tenure in PSA for 12 years, where he took an organization that was functioning, he can't account based on an audit for $6 million that he was spending money. Just what they're doing in THA, without letting no arm of the union, no general council, no nothing, not holding conference, nothing. We saw how to PSAs we limping going, and they still vote a man with that reputation, and a man who by mountain could know whether or not he's standing trial for rape and sexual assault, and they vote for that and expect something different from Farley, who has marched, in my opinion, to Watson Solomon Drew beat, because that party is Watson Solomon Drew party, and it's because of he they enjoying whatever popularity and thing they have now. That there tells me that the THA, unfortunately, with the PDP under that structure, are going away fast. And if they feel they're brighter than we, they're better than we, and we used to oppress them, and PNM ain't do nothing for them, Papa, allow the people let they go and handle their stories. I want to move on to David Nacken would have said in his video about people in any community that come from a house, slave, we mean Negro, of course. It could be in any race. I'm just paraphrasing. Because if you talk out in any race, he is a house slave or a house Negro. I want to ask him, so the Chinese who don't come out and talk out about whatever else going on in the community, them as house slaves? Or the Syrian community who don't come out and talk about whatever going on, they don't like in the community, them as house slaves? You see, they continue to belittle the words that are applied to African people, so that when we speak about it in an offensive way, they say, I small thing, because other people, other races is house slaves too. You see, those things are very dangerous. And I want to touch on this because this, to me, especially coming out of emancipation, African emancipation we celebrated on Monday, where it seemed that the crowd that they saw of African persons, like it get them jittery, that they scatter, act up and say all kind of negative things. The General Assembly of the United Nations has proclaimed 2015-24 as the decade for persons of African descent with a theme, people of African descent, recognition, justice, and development. And in proclaiming this decade, the international community is recognizing that people of African descent represent a distinct group whose human rights must be promoted and protected. You see, me, I hold to that deal because I'm telling you, if the UN had said 2015 to 24 is the decade of people of Indian descent, you see the kind of things that are happening when Ms. Camille Robinson Rayleigh, the Honorable, was told by Kamla Prasad Bissessa. And when you read David Muhammad's book, when Kamla say, I have my proud ancestral Indian name, you, Camille, have your slave name, David Muhammad's book said that what the colonials, the English who were our slave masters used to call these nigger. What all they want to hear it from us. So in my opinion, that is exactly what she was telling the Honorable Camille Robinson Rayleigh, a proud, black, successful African woman, that I have my Indian name, but you're a slave master. Who is you? Who is you, nigger? Who is you? That is my opinion. And it continues. You see, when I had to see on the social media, two beautiful African children being paraded around, and all kind of nasty things said about them, and the wife of Dr. Keith Christopher Rowley, Mrs. Sharon Rowley, outstanding woman. This is that you never hear nothing about this woman, a successful African woman, being posted all over Facebook. I have a challenge with that. I read a post put out, the person saying that they are the aunt of those two children. I think her name is Miss Akila Glasgow. When she said that her niece to come home and tell her, you know, Auntie, somebody tell me that the Prime Minister is my father, and I tell them, no, that is not my father. They thought it was a joke, they found it funny, and she said she had to laugh, but she was crying inside because these children don't understand. And the people who putting up these things don't understand the trauma they're putting these African children to in the decade of people African descent. I want to tell all PNM members of parliament, all senators, all PNM people, I'm waiting to see who coming out to denounce this, because this is the political leader. And it's because of this political leader that all here in office and all the holding position. I don't want to see the normal people that's come out, the Honorable Mr. Fitzgerald Hine, the Honorable Camille Robinson Regis, and I don't want to see them, them who just custom come out, You see all the others, because if them wife, if Mr. Honorable Brian and wife was put up there saying them thing about she, or Mr. Kazim Hossain Honorable, or the Minister of Works and Transport, Honorable Senanan, and all the others on them, if them wife or husband was put up, or the children put up on Facebook, with them kind of thing, if they want somebody to speak out on their behalf. This is the Prime Minister of this country, Dr. Keith Christopher Rowley. I take this personal because there's a black, successful African man that our children can emulate. And his wife and his children, they started when they say he's a raper man. They say it on radio almost every day and he's a pedophile. And what is happening? Nobody saying nothing. But they quick to talk about the youth in the community, the African community, when they do something wrong. But if the youth and them feel at that level, nobody is coming out and defending with black leaders who standing up doing the right thing. What do you expect them to say? Where's the African emancipation community? Where's Kafka Kambon? If they put his wife up and saying them thing about you children up, what would I be saying? They was talking so elegantly and dressed so nicely on Monday. What they saying about that? Where's all the African groups, the woman and all that, who run me think out of office because he say woman should dress better? With them today to stand up for African woman in this decade of people of African descent. I want to see what they're going to say, because they see to me, that's a great disrespect. And we alone out here on the ground can be defending the Prime Minister of this country, a proud African man, especially in the decade of African people. We alone can be doing it. We want to see some of them leaders come out and denounce what they're doing to Michelle Rowley this morning and dragging she and these beautiful African children. I am very vexed. I'm damn annoyed about it, and who don't like it, I did damn business. You reach home safely, Dominic. Bye.
Thank you, Jenny. I think you've said it there for all of us. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Jenny. Thank you again. Dominic, I see you're grilling them this morning. That's good. That's your menu for today.
Yeah.
Yeah, real fire. I don't know what 11 days to do, but it's a world conference. I think the Grenadian probably laughing at us now when people emulating our carnival activity. They don't come here and spend 11 days. They come and enjoy, right? And we benefit from that. So how now we are going to another country? Well, I say we, but it's our taxpayers' money. Going to another country to find out how we Trinidadians teach them how to do this festival. It must be a laughing stock for Tobago. I hope they recognize that. I'm waiting on the report. I want to see what it is they come up with. And concerning the ferry, how come they not, the business people do not put an additional ferry or extra sailing between Trinidad and Tobago, since they don't have enough flights or even hire a plane? Now, there's a lot to say about that. We cannot have people spending money. Secretary have secretary. I mean, this was a joyride thing to me, Dominic, and it must be investigated. Why the people spending so much thousands of dollars where others are being sent home, right? And more money to be spent without report, without anything to the citizen, nothing. You're not saying what happened, who you met, what transpired, and why it's taken. All you have to do is communicate with the people, teleconferencing, you can have video conferences. Why you have to spend 11 days to know what, to see what? If you want, spend your own money, right? If you want to promote yourself, spend your own money. It's really hurting us taxpayers to know that we could make a fool of ourselves. Well, people who we hire making a fool of this country. Have a good evening.
Hello?
Yes, sir. Good afternoon.
Yes, my brother. Good afternoon, Dominic. Good afternoon to the listeners, the callers, the texters, and the viewers of the Street 919. First of all, I want to take this opportunity to wish my country as we celebrate 60 years of independence in Trinidad and Tobago. And I, Dominic, am proud of my country's achievement and success over the last 60 years, from where we were to where we at and to where we are going in the future. Thanks to the 5 years of this misadministration we had, that kind of had the country in this dilemma. But anyway, I want to congratulate Sister Jenny for that powerful message she sent this morning, because I read that same article on Facebook, right? And trying to denigrate these little girls and them twin girls, right? To make it feel that if Dr. Rowley have children outside. How many of them in the opposition party right now as we speak have tons of man and woman that's friend outside? They must learn to watch themselves in the mirror first before they come out and talk about other people. Stop throw glass stones on people's house and watch your house. Right? I think that Mrs. Rowley have her legal team at standby. So have to issue pre-action letters for these people, because at the end of the day, it's not now this going on. They delivered Alwari, they delivered Stuart Young, they delivered Foster Cummins, they delivered the Attorney General, Reginald Amo. Now they're attacking the Prime Minister's wife. So who again? And these African so-called leaders they have in this country who just pretend to come out one day to make it feel as if, okay, everything is hunky-dory, and after that one day, we ain't here all day after that. I want to see, and I am siding with Sister Jenny this morning. I want to see the African leaders come out in defense of this BS that unleashed on the Prime Minister family this morning. Because at the end of the day, I was totally upset and disgusted. The Prime Minister never disrespected the former Prime Minister's family for no reason whatsoever. So why you have your minions, right? You have your minions in this country trading guns at a Prime Minister for personal and private life and family. What the Prime Minister did you all in this country that all they so hate the Prime Minister so much? You know why? Or they cannot get what all they want, or they cannot get freeness under this government, and or they cannot eat food as it is always eat a food under this government. So all of the cost the Prime Minister, Dr. Rowley, trying to make this country a stabilized country, and everybody down in the mind, even down to the Latrin Association of Trinidad and Tobago, right? All here, and I said a bunch of corrupted elements in this country, only lapping up all what Kamala and them saying. You understand? And I find this that the demand is totally set up all here. I think Dominic, Dr. Rowley should call election 2025, and if he don't work up, you take your family and ride into the political sunset, and you're going to enjoy yourself with your grandchildren and your business in Tobago. Let these 1.4 million people in Trinidad and Tobago take whoever they want as leader to run the country. And if they want a repeat of 2010 to 2015, this time around, it will be 10 times worse. And then whoever going, if it's Watson Duke, God have mercy. If it's he, well, this country gone to the dogs. Yeah, so I ain't going to touch that without Tobago back on that, because Farley and them is a bunch of newbies who don't know A, B, nor C. So them just want to joyride right now. So me, I want to talk to them in Tobago. Right, Dominic? So I want to say good morning to the Safari Sukuya who locked on live on the live. Dominic, locked on, blessed day, get on safe.
Thank you, Eric. The Safari Sukuya. Lord. I just want to say for all the literati who had Sharon Rowley case, just know her legal career and her track record in the courthouse, right? Plenty better than Kamala own. All right? Just remember that. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mr. Dominic.
Good afternoon,
Merry
sir.
Christmas.
And to you too.
The blessings. Sister Jenny, morning, lover, morning. That is why I sing this song, Mr. Dominic. Emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our mind. Yeah, Mr. Dominic.
Mm-hmm.
And when I hear you discuss that this morning concerning the wife of the Prime Minister, yeah, Mr. Dominic, I said these people wouldn't stop at nothing. And yet, and nobody, Mr. Dominic, ain't coming out to stand. They ain't even stand in the defense of the Prime Minister, the man who nightlife is a good thing he here on the head, Mr. Dominic, because he might have been whiter than the cloud in the air here, Mr. Dominic.
Yes.
To deal with the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. Mr. Dominic, when I listened to you this morning, here, I watching the Ijara News last night and watching the listening post, and they're showing you about the media, Mr. Dominic, in India, where the Hindus against the Muslims in India, Mr. Dominic. And you know what they say the cause of that, Mr. Dominic? Social media, Mr. Dominic.
Yes.
And they stated that social media, with the kind of things that is post out, just cause riot in your country, Mr. Dominic.
Mm-hmm.
The man, he said, well, let we go as far back. You know how far back the man went? Remember the massacre in Uganda, Mr. Dominic?
Yes.
That is the cause. And they said the government of Uganda was warned about that. And that the social media is what caused the massacre, millions of lives have lost. You hear, Mr. Dominic? And that is what the opposition. Remember, we had a man here, how they call it? I can't remember the name they call it. But Mr. Dominic, they stating if we don't careful around the world with the social media, we could get worse than what happened in Uganda many years ago, Mr. Dominic. And I find it's time that the Prime Minister wife, who is decent people, put these people before the court, Mr. Dominic, let them pay for their mouth. Here, these people getting out of hand because today, tomorrow, why you feel all this fire burning all over Trinidad and Tobago, Mr. Dominic?
Yes.
It's a racial war. It's a riot. It's a war they want to cause in Trinidad and Tobago to get rid of the present government that's upholding Trinidad and Tobago now since 2010. You know. That's a mission, you know, Mr. Dominic.
Yes.
You hear? And if Trinidadians not careful, Mr. Dominic, we could wake up in the morning and here we end up like Rwanda. Yeah? And to Mr. Farley, I don't know, but you may so rest in peace, because I'm sure you can remember when Mr. Sakmarad said that Tobagonians, they should take all Tobagonians and send them down in Grenada and let them, all of them live down there together. Well, I don't know if it's that Mr. Farley remember that he want to go down Grenada. Perhaps he carrying all the citizens of Tobago down in Grenada and form a new Grenada Carnival, not in Tobago, down in Grenada. Here, Mr. Dominic. So we have to be very careful, Mr. Dominic, with this social media. and they tell you what they call WhatsApp and what the next one name? Not the Facebook. What the next one name, Mr. Dominic?
YouTube?
Yeah. Them is the two foundation, they say, for carrying this kind of rhetoric throughout those cause war and riot in your country. Mr. Dominic, Sister Jenny are standing with you fundamentally. You hear? Too much of this thing going on, and that's what I keep saying for a long time. We always running to apologize to people who don't apologize and who cares nothing about us. We just run and apologize. Mr. Dominic, have a peaceful one, a blessed one, and you stay safe for me, please.
You too.
Give thanks and praises to hear your voice this morning, and thanks for the time. Blessings, Mr. Dominic.
Thank you, sir. Hello, good afternoon. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, hi, good afternoon, Dominic.
Yes, sir, good afternoon.
Recently in the U.S., as of yesterday, there a guy, social media blogger, was fined $4 million for one of the cases where he said that the children did not die and all this kind of thing. It is time that we take, or Carol and his wife take these people to court. It's nonsense.
Yes.
It's total nonsense. I mean, oh gosh, you can't get after Dr. Roll, you know you're going to his wife? Because remember the last thing they do was, why Dr. Roll, you have 2 jobs because you have a farm in Tobago.
Yes.
And I had to say, well what utter nonsense going on over it, Mark? So that wasn't good enough, and that didn't take long. So you know the new one, Trinidadians like Bacchanal, so the new one is, he's a one of my, Anna Roberts, you talking that? Nah, man. If it was somebody else, when I hear that, I said, nah, man, nah, man.
Yeah.
That kind, that is like, you're living in glass house and you're person, that is what you call living in glass house.
Correct.
And Felton Stone. No, it's ridiculous.
It is.
I don't know. It reached that point of getting me crazy. And nobody's saying anything. As Sister Jenny is correct. Camille at her shop now. Let the ones in the back now take up the fight. It's time for them to take up the fight. So the people at Tobago have seen something wrong. They have seen that, oh gosh, they're attacking the prairie for no apparent reason. Nobody is telling them where to get off. Oh gosh, man. Have a good day, Dominic.
Thank you. And I hope when the Prime Minister tell one of them to meet him on the pavement, all they have nothing to say. Let's see. Hello, good
Dominic.
afternoon. Yes, sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Hey, good afternoon.
Greetings.
Sorry about that. Good afternoon. Good afternoon to your listeners and to your viewers. Sister Jenny, good afternoon. What's up? All the other listeners. Good sunshine, everybody. Hello to everybody. Dominic, I just have a short contribution. The pack of rubbish that you explained to us earlier about going Grenada to check out the Dominic, oh gosh, listen, all living in the Mecca of Carnival. The Mecca of Carnival is Trinidad. And what you could lighten that? What you could make us synonym? What antonym synonym? What you could lighten that rubbish with, boy, Solia, boy? It has nothing to lighten that rubbish with. Just why I'm telling you. And you explaining this pack of nonsense. And Dominic, I give up on the program. It's a lost cause, brother. It's a lost cause. I give up. Them brothers and them, they're not doing no good for this nation. But here what has peeved me, You see how they does talk education?
Yes.
It's like them come out to actually encourage people to stay done straight, to get the lawyer work, to get the lawyer rich. As long as you illiterate and you stay done, it's liable that you'll do the wrong thing, and there goes the wealth of the lawyers. That's how they does get rich, by your dunceness, your illiteracy, And for you to stay where you is, for somebody to come and help you, that's how the lawyers does get rich. And these brothers come in every day to encourage young people to begin. Dominic, we struggling to encourage brothers. Oh gosh, attain knowledge, get knowledge. Knowledge is what it does increase, your ability to earn money or do something. Them men and them coming and thinking. But I'm blown away by that Tobago thing, and I don't know, I'm lost for words, Dominic. That is all I call to say. I just called to say that real rubbish you explained to me there. And thanks for bringing the information. Everybody, I'll look on and have a nice day. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Yeah, I see that the deputy chairman of the Tobago Carnival Committee, he too is on the trip, and he will be there for 11 days as well. But as I said, the chairman, she only needs 2 days to assess. We have carnival band leaders here who go all over the world carrying carnival, whether it be Caribana, Notting Hill Carnival, Miami Carnival, in Canada, wherever it is, right? All over the world exporting Trinidad and Tobago's carnival. But you need to go to Grenada in order to get a template on how you should run your carnival. When in Trinidad and Tobago, seen to be the Mecca. Well, all right. Well, according to the THA exec, it's not the Mecca anymore. Brian.
Good afternoon, Dominic.
Greetings, sir.
Good afternoon to the listeners and callers of 91.9. Dominic, every time I hear Foolish Folly, I now know how others feel. You know how others feel? Others feel like the Auditor General of Barbados. Because I watch a picture of the Auditor General. He sit back in the chair and he have two hands by his, open mouth. He say, I don't know how to do this maths,
Mm-hmm.
No, seriously, because Dominic, you want to tell me. Dominic, I don't know nothing about math. I can't arrange, I can't have no band or nothing. But if I want to impress the people of my island as a leader, now you don't have to like me,
yes,
or I don't have to like you, don't put it that way. But if I want to impress the people of my island, I know that Dominic Romaine epitomizes what a band should look like. And I want to make money. And a member of one of the biggest bands in Trinidad offer his services to talk with you about your carnival coming up in October. And you tell him, no, me, I want to talk to you. You understand? I am certain he didn't ask him for no fee or nothing. That would have cost $500, less than $500 to go between Trinidad and Tobago, to sit and meet and talk. And he would have brought between 10 to 15 to 20,000 revelers.
Yes.
In Tobago.
Yes.
You understand? You wouldn't have place. And watch me. And if that person had gotten his band to come to Tobago, you don't think the other big bands would have said, well, let we go to now?
Mm-hmm.
Eh?
Yes.
You want to have room, Dominic? People had to walk with a tent and lay down on the street. You understand what I'm trying to explain to you?
Yes,
But you
sir.
say, oh no, me want to talk to you. I don't want to talk to Gypsy, the head of the NCC. Me, I want to talk to none of all. All they don't know nothing. I Grenada. Now, let me do the math as I tell you, because as I always say, according to the math, just say math. The population of Grenada, Dominic, is 112,000 people.
Yes.
The population of Tobago is about 65 odd thousand people.
Correct.
You studying to get a ferry to go between Trinidad and Tobago. Now between Trinidad and Tobago and Grenada.
Mm-hmm.
The distance between Tobago and Trinidad is approximately 19 miles. The distance between Tobago and Grenada is approximately 89 miles. What kind of size of ferry you going to get to go between Tobago and Grenada to carry how much people, Dominic? Dominic, this thing costing me about nearly 2 weeks now. I studied this. I say, but wait now. Let me see. $3,000 plus to travel by plane to go to Grenada. Now, watch me, between you and me, brother. If I got to go to Grenada, I being honest with you, and the people of Tobago have to pay for that. You think I'm going in a 2-star hotel?
No.
You think I'm going in a 4-star hotel? No, Dominic, I'm going in a 5-star or a 7-star, Dominic. For what? For 11, 10, 11, 12 days?
Yes.
I'm going in the best, Dominic. Me a business, me a paying for that. Somebody had to pay for that, Dominic.
But Brian, Grenada's carnival is 11 days? Or was it only
Dominic, Dominic, let the maths just not matching. I was coming to that. It's just not matching, Dominic.
Yeah.
You get my point?
Mm-hmm.
So you telling me, you ain't telling people at Tobago and all you're going again, all you promise after the Watson Duke debacle, that you go let the people know what's going on in future. Then all you sit down there with the blessing of the chief secretary, because all you can't go just so. And all you fly out with over $250,000, nearly $500,000. Now that is what we know about on paper, eh?
Yes.
We ain't talking about other things that might go on out of sight, out of mind. Behind the camera, not in front. You understand? You carry people who have no contribution to make towards, as far as I see basis, the list you call out, as some of those people, to watch Carnival in Tobago. But you go on there for 10 to 11 days and only holding a 3-day carnival in Tobago. And you don't want nothing to do with Trinidad. So how much people coming from Grenada to Tobago, Dominic? Dominic, Grenada see trouble right now. That is where the fire Mitchell Senior.
Yes.
You understand? I'm in trouble. I'm praying for people to come to Grenada, Dominic.
Mm-hmm.
Them have time to come to Tobago. If 10 people coming from Tobago to spend that kind of money, all you come now. No scene. We have hotel here. Fix all yourself, cook up all your food, have a good time. All eating. Nice food here. Spice. Everything nice. And them go on with that. And this is the man who's still telling Mr. and Mrs. Parks, who must be still waiting since June for the money from the contracts that they had before, because he had to do forensic audit. I want to ask Mr. and Mrs. Park and all the other contractors in Tobago if they get any money yet. And Dominic, the budget come in, you know. So when the budget come and the Minister of Finance says, well, they could only get this. Because he done threaten already. If he ain't get what he want, you're gonna get one bad. So you're gonna buy ferry with what money, Dominic? To go 89 nautical miles to Grenada. Which ferry you going to purchase, Dominic? With what money and from who? And who going to service it, Dominic?
But then, Brian, if it's taken about 2.5, 3 hours to get from Trinidad to Tobago, how long it take you to get from Grenada?
89 miles away. Coming to that. So if you want to go from Tobago to Grenada for Friday, you have to leave Wednesday by boat. How much are you going to charge, Dominic? Yeah. Because right now, to go from Tobago to Trinidad and vice, it is subsidized by the government, the people of Trinidad and Tobago.
Correct.
So are you going to subsidize that trip, that 89-mile trip to Grenada, Dominic? How many times a day that boat going to make that trip, Dominic? Or how many times a week? I'm going to play it that way.
Yes.
And I'm asking the question, what is going to Grenada to do? Because Grenada don't have thing every day except to go in the hotel and go by the beach and relax. There's some boat race, there's some crab race in Grenada. I don't know. Maybe they do. But what are you going to talk to them about? When they come into Trinidad to have a good time in Trinidad, have carnival and to learn something. The maths not matching, Dominic. Dominic, help them now. Use, according to the, what is the name? You call it the guru. Use the man to help them, Dominic. Go across, take a couple of days and go across there and ask for an audience with the goodly chief secretary, foolish Farley, and help him now. And show him where the match not matching now. Before the people at Tobago have to go and grab him out of the office and tell him, hey, you better go back to school and teach in Signal Hill. Because you're not doing anything. You're talking things that just, like pie in the sky things, Dominic. There's a pie in the sky things. And we're talking about the economy of the country. And on top of that, you're disrespecting people in Trinidad. I have to listen to the Minister of Works. Poor fella, he you get questions and he can't answer. You say, well, I don't know. I just hear something. I just read something and nothing reach my desk yet. I don't know. You understand?
Yes.
When we go in, Dominic, as a people, and all the others could do outside of that is to criticize. Now they wanted Mrs. Rowley. What Mrs. Rowley do anybody, Dominic? And her children. So okay, you can't according to your last call, you can't ruffle the feathers of the boss. So you're going, boy, let me get the rest of them. That is the low we reach to. And the people going and vote for that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Dominic, people going and stain the finger. People with slave master name to go and stain the finger, Dominic, for that, you know.
Yes.
I said, I had to worry about it. You understand?
Yes.
And then they go say, hey, look, let's see, the power again, all right, everything will be nice now. We go eat the crumbs off the ground. No, we go get something to eat at least. Dominic, it is a shame and a scandal and a total embarrassment. What next from foolish folly? What next? Tell me. But I wait to hear the case coming up sometime, I think it's this week. Because a man has $60 million in his pocket to do what I don't know yet. But we shall see, Dominic. We shall see.
We shall see.
Thank you.
Thank you. Right. So let me just read this quickly. I think I might have. Let's see. Let me leave it there 2 minutes. Hello. Good morning. Good afternoon. Sorry.
Hello. Dominic, good afternoon.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon.
Dominic, remember I told you I defended Dr. Rowley, his wife, his children, Marlene, from all them waste of time on them. You see they going behind Dr. Rowley's wife again, Dominic?
Yes.
I ain't tell you about Marlene. One day, I'm going to tell you what Dr. Rowley did Marlene, Dominic. But not today. Dominic, I call for that. Dominic, remember when the UNC was in power? Maduro came to Trinidad?
Yes.
Dominic, the former Prime Minister couldn't get the oil deal with Venezuela. Dr. Rowley dived in head first and see he could get it before she. All the nonsense Dr. Rowley did, Dominic, you think America did like that? Sending Dennis Moses down Venezuela. He gone down Venezuela to do the Congo line. Inviting Delcy to Trinidad to talk about virus. Sanctions plane landing in the airport. Talking down to Mr. Mandela. Dominic, you think America did like that, Dominic? And I ain't done yet, Dominic. But I will leave it there for now. We talk again.
Thank you. Leave it there. Well, I guess you didn't see the latest release from TTT. I spoke to Stuart Young, went to Venezuela a couple of days ago, and he met with Mr. Maduro. Yeah, so I guess you will be looking into that to speak on that issue. Right, so let me just read this quickly. From the Women's League of the People's National Movement, UNC's attack on PM's wife is repugnant and reprehensible. Mrs. Sharon Clark Rowley is the wife of the Honorable Prime Minister Dr. Keith Christopher Rowley. She is a mother, grandmother, sister, aunt, friend, and daughter. Mrs. Clark Rowley's accolades does not end there. She is patron of many charitable non-governmental organizations which assist women and children. Our Prime Minister's wife is a practicing attorney at law of 37 years standing and is not involved in active politics. She has never mounted a political stage nor made any representations in the Parliament. Since her husband's assumption of office in September 2015, Mrs. Clark Rowley continues to be an advocate for the well-being of women and girls in Trinidad and Tobago, despite being constantly attacked by her husband's political opponents. At present, Mrs. Clark Rowley avidly supports the work of the Down Syndrome Family Network, the WAND, Foundation, which is Women in Action for the Needy and Destitute, the Epoch Foundation, a non-governmental organization which is aimed at empowering young people to holistically overcome their challenges, and several other non-governmental entities which are dedicated to changing the social landscape of TNT through youth-oriented initiatives. She is also patron of the Caribbean Association of Oncology and Hematology, and all worthy causes supported by a woman of dignity and compassion. It is against this backdrop that the Women's League of the People's National Movement stands in solidarity with Mrs. Clark Rowley and strongly denounces Kamala Persad-Bissessar, the first female Prime Minister. Kamala Persad-Bissessar is the first female Prime Minister's support of the vile and absolutely disgusting discussion led by the UNC, and in particular her senatorial pick of Anil Roberts' repulsive, vile and despicable attacks against the wife of the Honorable Prime Minister in the public domain. Having failed on more than one occasion to besmirch the good name of the Prime Minister, opposition leader Persad-Bissessar has let loose Roberts to attack the good name and reputation of the Honorable Prime Minister's wife. Under the leadership of Persad-Bissessar, the UNC has discarded every vestige of morality and decency. Persad-Bissessar must remind her Senate pick that there is a level of decency which must be upheld and thresholds from which we should refrain when persons place themselves in public service. While politicians expect to be attacked by their opposition, or rather their opponents, on the issues of policy, personality and delivery, of which the PNM stands ever ready to defend its record in this regard, the UNC's current attempt to drag the name and reputation of the Prime Minister's wife into the grime and muck-filled trenches of the UNC bosom is, this is a new low. Let me see here. One sec. UNC Senator Roberts' colossal use of sewage-filled attacks against Mrs. Clark Rowley must be strongly deprecated by all citizens. Additionally, this is not the first time that UNC Senator Roberts has taken aim at women on his social media platform. He continues to debase, slander, mock, demean and disrespect us, all whilst his leader Persad-Bissessar sits on the sidelines applauding. The type of repulsive, abhorrent, vile, antagonistic attacks displayed by Roberts and the UNC must stop. Women are to be respected, cherished, protected, and not attacked verbally, physically, or emotionally because of whom they have married. And the very nature of UNC Senator Roberts' continued misconduct and Persad-Bissessar's approval of such is inimical to the national good. Politics cannot be left to become so base. If the leaders in our society stoop to these abhorrent levels, we cannot expect those whom we lead to aspire to anything greater. The Women's League abhors and condemns this debasing and disrespect of Mrs. Clark Rowley, and we are always ready to defend the women of Trinidad and Tobago. And that is the release from the People's National Movement's Women's League. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Dominic. Good afternoon, boy.
Sir.
Dominic?
Yes, sir.
After saying we did, because I am over 75, 80 now.
Yes.
And I'm not interfere with my wife, so. Or not even my wife, my friend. he can't pass close to me,
meet you at the pavement.
Yeah, but he can't come out. Anytime he come out, he has to take the aeroplane, he has to take.
Yeah.
You understand where the point is reaching to now, with especially that road mode fella?
Yes.
He and the next partner? There's a point they're reaching at that they can't face somebody because it's surety something will happen when they face them.
Yes.
The next thing I hear you talk, we talk about this morning is this now more than half my family is from Grenada.
Yes.
And I's a old mass man from Sito, Despas, Renegades, all of them. I play my mass with them in talk.
Right.
And to hear this dotish young fella who's supported by them old-time politician in Tobago, choking that man to tell me to move, he want to go to study Carnival, boy. I mean, when you I can't find no words, so I don't want to go on too long. Let somebody else get a next contribution because it's so, excuse me.
Yes.
I can't find the correct word in the dictionary. It did it. But Dominic, the dictionary knows to explain to them Tobago people. That fella who's saying down there in place the next man who's telling people to go and thief.
Yes.
And that is when the people hogging up them people in Tobago who Choi Charles and I'm calling the name, all of them is sitting down in the back, encouraging that nonsense to go on in Tobago. All the old politicians, that is all you're bringing, you all had. Don't tell me that is all you had, man. Yeah, that's all you can say. No, this thing can't go on. It can't go on. That is all they have to do because Dominic, have a nice day, the program.
You
Too
too,
nice
sir.
a day. Have a nice day, brother.
You too. So I see the ads up on us. Hello, good afternoon. Final call.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
My financial guru. Brian Iwer, boy. This is our financial guru. But, brother, and good day to Sister Jenny. Thank you again. So, the person who is in charge at the thing in Tobago, she went for 2 days.
Yes.
And a secretary, how to put that? Like the secretary of a secretary?
Yes.
Secretary.
Yes.
So I wonder, I hear what I'm telling me, you know, because but I had to call them dumb and dumber. Kingsley called, and Kingsley explained to them that, hey, this thing going on for a period of time.
Yes.
The so-called Rastaman called and said 75 million, not once,
Yeah.
not twice.
3 times.
3 times, and when they're done, dumb and dumber tell them good contribution. And I must listen to them. So I am saying, compared to how much they give it, Dominic, 35?
Yes.
35. Compared to 7.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
so where them was, boy?
Hmm.
And them coming on the radio every day to tell me to try to support. And you know something yesterday? You ever one tell me? I had to give my Prime Minister kudos because when I see my Prime Minister tell me that I'm not supporting anybody to give nothing, no handout. So wait telling me the Prime Minister not supporting the so-called gang leaders.
Yes.
But I see a man come in my community like the PDP leader supporting the same gang leaders. Isn't them the same people who calling our on the squad and ball the PNM must go?
Yes.
He was there with them Saturday. Isn't he one of those kind of people? So when you say you're not supporting what's new, that's supporting these kind of elements in your community, but these elements are the people who calling on your program to make noise that the Prime Minister must go. So all you're contradicting all yourself because first all you have to do, according to the Rastaman who tell all you know the Rastaman tell them, all your parents and grandparents fail all you. And you're telling them that because they support the PNM.
Yes.
You understand what I'm telling you?
Yep.
But he's still telling them that parenting, at the end of the day, is the main factor. Eh? So he's telling all you is not good citizens, all you is not good parents, all you didn't raise good children. That's what the man telling all you know. But all you raise good children because all you support the PNM.